BrainJockZone.com, and I'm here with Casey Gendason, the former admissions officer at Emory University and currently college admissions counselor at a top private school in Texas. Casey, thank you for being here with me.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
And today we're going to be talking about choosing a college. Which one is a good fit for you and your athletics? And my first question for you is just what's the first step you take? There are millions of colleges out there. Where do you start and what are you looking for?
So the starting point to narrow down and to take this very wide net and begin to funnel out which schools would be a good fit, I believe begins with coming up with a list of criteria that you want in a college. So there are two ways to approach this. There's the list of criteria, and then from there, matching that to colleges, or taking a look at a list of colleges and figuring out which ones would be best for you. I would argue that coming up with a list of criteria and what you think you want in a college is going to maximize your chances of landing at a college that's a great fit for you. So students want to start to think about and look inward to determine what type of environment academically is best for you as a student. Small classes, larger classes, lecture style, seminar courses. What type of interaction with faculty does the student want to have during college? The size of the school. Some students would thrive at a school of 30,000 people or more, and they would love that type of large school experience. Others would get lost in the shuffle and need a more personalized experience. They meet people faster when it's a more communal setting. So some students would gravitate towards smaller schools or then medium-sized schools, something between the small and large, 5,000 to 15,000 students. Some students will want to have a particular location. They want to be within driving distance to their family or within a non-stop flight of where they live. Some students know exactly what they want to study, so they want to make sure they're looking at schools that offer those programs. Other students have no idea what they want to study, which is fine, so they want to make sure they attend colleges that have a lot of flexibility and allow them to try a variety of areas and then make the decision. So when you come up with this list of criteria, you want to have 2 or 3 must-haves. What are the non-negotiables? What do you know you absolutely want in a school, whether it be size, location, programs, people, religious backgrounds, lifestyle perspectives, whatever it is that you think you want. What are the 2 or 3 non-negotiables? Then what are the would like to have criterion? What would really make the experience wonderful for you? What would really make the experience wonderful for you? And then what would you like to have but you could live without?
Yeah.
And once you have that shorter list of criteria, then you can come up with a list of colleges that fit that criteria. And that's how I would approach narrowing down the thousands and thousands of colleges that are out there. And I would say for recruited athletes, not all schools offer every sport at the varsity level. So if that's something that you're going to look at closely, making sure you use that as one of perhaps your non-negotiables when it comes to criteria is going to be important. Not every student is going to be Division I ready.
Yes.
So looking at Division III schools or Division II schools may be the route that the student should take.
And when selecting a group of colleges that you feel would be good fits for you, what kind of importance do you put on having a balance of reach schools versus safe schools versus kind of in the middle schools?
So a student wants to make sure that he or she has the bases covered fully and thoroughly. I'm all for reaching and stretching. I think this is a wonderful time to do that, and I encourage students to have somewhere between 2 and 5 reach schools. Yeah. Reach schools are defined as schools where they admit less than 20% of the applicants. It is highly selective, the most selective group. It's going to be tough for everyone to be admitted because they do not admit many people. I would also say a reach school can mean that your profile, academic profile is mainly what I'm referring to, grades, test scores, curriculum, is close, but it's a little bit below what we usually see. Not significantly below, but just a little bit, a little hair below. It's going to be tough, but not impossible.
Yeah.
The middle of the road schools, as I like to refer to them, you have a 50-50 chance. It means this: your profile, mainly academic profile, matches what the college tends to admit. When you look online and see the middle 50% range for the SAT or ACT and average GPA, it's looking good. Okay. It's still 50-50 though, because the school is quite selective and they don't admit every student that has test scores in that range or even a little bit higher or has that GPA. So it's a 50-50 toss-up. And then likely schools, which I would recommend having at least 2 likely schools. The reason for that is you will have a choice in the end. If you do that, you know you will have a choice. Are schools where your profile exceeds what the college usually admits. And so having that balance among reaches, middle of the road, 50-50 schools, and likely schools is so important when you go through this process. Thinking, I'll apply to 20 reach schools and I have to get into one of them is not a wise approach, because while statistically you may argue that yes, you will land at one of them, you need to cover yourself in making sure that you are going to have realistic options. So I don't think you need 10 likely schools. I also think you want to be practical about how you line up your list of colleges.
All right, great. Thank you, Casey.
You're welcome.
And for more information on picking the right college for you, go to www.brainjockzone.com. Thanks, guys.